Hello everyone, this is Akila from Freelearn. Learn free with Freelearn. So in today's video, we are going to focus on IELTS reading. Reading, which is divided into two factors. The first one is academic and the second one is general. As we discussed in the last video, academic IELTS is for someone who prefer to study abroad and general IELTS is for someone who wants to work abroad or for any other purposes. IELTS reading is complex because of its vocabulary. It does have a wide variety of ranges of words that we may not understand at a glance. We need to be careful in connecting the words with the meaning of the sentence or the concept given. Reading test. There are several types of reading, right? In reading test, first one is reading for gist. So, whenever we read a paragraph, we just read it to get an idea of what actually the matter is or what is the purpose of it, right? So, that is what we say as gist, reading for gist. The second one, reading for main ideas. The one other purpose of reading is to grab the important ideas or notes. And the third one, reading for detail. And for the third time, we'll be looking for the detailed information or what the entire paragraph or the topic is speaking about. So we go into more in-depth analysis for this purpose. And the fourth one is to understand the inferences and implied meanings. What does it actually mean or what it is actually meant for? Just to understand what it talks about. And the fifth one is recognizing a writer's opinion. So, in some of the paragraphs, we may have a multiple opinions of multiple personalities. Say, for example, if it is about a scientific thing, then there may be a number of scientists who put on their own point of view about the similar topic or the same topic. They may have different ideas and opinions and arguments. So just understand and get to know what actually the writer or the scientist mean and get to know their point of view and for what he is arguing and that of others too. Also, the writer may also try to imply his own meaning into the passage or the topic. So just have a clarity about what each one is about. And next one is attitudes and purpose. So what is the attitude of each person towards that particular topic and what is their impact and what is the purpose of the particular topic. So just to get a glance and clear idea about what it is all about. And the last one is following the development of an argument. So as I told before, we should be clear about what each person thinks and tries to convey about the same topic. So let's move to academic reading. It's just about the structure. Okay. So in academic reading, there will be three major sections. First will be the easiest one. The second one will be a little bit difficult. And the third one is the hardest of all. So for academic reading, you will be provided 60 minutes, that is 1 hour of time, which may contain 40 questions and each question worth 1 mark. Okay. And general interest text written for non-specialist audience too. In academic reading, the paragraph for the given topic may be taken from texts like journals, magazines, books, and newspapers. They are not build up stories, but they are factual details which explains the reality. So now let's go into the questions. The instructions are clear and easy to follow. So in every question paper, the instructions will be provided and it is so clear and easy to follow. We may not get confused with that. Then examples will be provided to unfamiliar question types. In some cases, the question type may differ. It may not be the one that we had referred earlier. So, in such cases, they will be providing some examples so that we can get to know how this particular question should be answered. Next one, text and questions appear on question paper, which you can write on but not take away from the test room. So, for reading, you may get the questions in the question paper on which you can write, but you cannot take away from the test room. As in usual cases, even for other competitive examinations, we are allowed to take the question paper along with us when we move out of the exam hall, right? But for this purpose, or for IELTS, we cannot take the question paper along with us when we move out of the exam hall. The next one is all questions must be answered within 60 minutes on an answer sheet. There is no extra time to transfer your answers. So for reading, we should answer all the questions within the given time. That is within 1 hour, we should answer the questions. And they won't be giving us an extra time to transfer the answer to the answer sheet, as in the case of listening. Okay, so you should be clear about that. Don't get confused. Then, the position of the question varies. Some of the questions may come before a passage, some may come after, depending on the question type. So, in some cases, the questions will be asked after the passage. In some other cases, the questions will be followed by the paragraph. So, don't get confused. Just go through the entire question paper clearly and get to know what the question is about, whether it is about the first paragraph or about the second paragraph. Just get to know the clear idea of what it actually is, and then try to answer the questions. Then types of questions. So for reading, what type of questions can we expect? First one is short answer questions. There will be short answer questions, then multiple choice. You'll be given a number of options and you have to select an appropriate answer from the options. And the third one is sentence completion, just like fill in the blanks or whatever we may call. So that is a sentence completion. The fourth one is notes or summary or diagram or flowchart or table completion. So it may be in the form of notes or summary or diagram, flowchart and table completion and so on. And the fifth one, choosing a heading for a paragraph. So a number of paragraphs will be given like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and so on, or maybe up to H. So what we have to do is we have to give an appropriate title to the paragraph, which means we are not able to give out of our own interest, but we have to choose the appropriate heading for the paragraph. Number of options will be given, and we have to match this heading with that particular paragraph. Then, identification of writer's views or claims. Something like yes or no or not given. Okay. So we should identify the writer's views or for what he or she claims. It is of two types. See the next one. It may be true, false, or not given, or yes, no, or not given. So you should be careful in dealing with the things. So if it is wrong, instead of true, if you write yes, then you may get a wrong answer because the computer may not recognize this answer. So while you write, you should be careful. Then eighth one is classification. Ninth one, it goes on like matching list or phrases. So something like match the following. So these are the question types you can expect for your IELTS reading test. And the next one is general training mode. So we had already discussed about academic reading, right? And this one is for general training mode. So section 1. This section contains 2 to 3 short factual texts with topics that will be relevant to your day-to-day life or everyday life when you live abroad in an English environment. For example, a text may consist of a number of advertisements. So the first section will contain something about topic that we come around our day today or daily life, not in our environment but in abroad. So, for example, they had also given an example like advertisements. So, number of advertisements will be given, and the questions may be asked based upon that. In section 2, there are two factual texts, and they focus on issues related to work, such as applying for a job, pay and conditions, staff training, and development and company policies. So, see, this is particularly for general training module. Okay, it's not for academic purpose, but for general training. So things we are discussing now is of general training mode. For academic training, we have already completed like short answer questions, multiple choice, errors completion. These are the question types for academic. And for general training, we see we will be given 2 to 3 factual details about our relevant everyday life when we live abroad. And second section contains two factual texts and they focus on issues related to work, such as applying for a job, pay and conditions, staff training and development, and company policies, which is completely related to a workspace. So just get to know the difference between academic IELTS reading and general IELTS reading. Section 3 is the text which is longer and more difficult. It is a text on a topic of general interest. So it is the hardest part, as I told, and you may get a paragraph you may get a paragraph to read, and you have to go through the entire text, which is a little bit difficult, but you can understand and get to know it better through practice. And see, for general test too, we'll go through all these things like short answer questions, multiple choice, sentence completion, notes or summary, diagram, flow chart, table completion. So it may be short answer questions, multiple choice, sentence completion, notes or summary on diagram or flow chart, or table completion, as similar as the first one. Then the necessary skills to do well in reading section. So in order to perform well in reading section, we have to go through some things or ideas like skimming and scanning. These are two key techniques used to quickly identify relevant information in text. So just to get to know about the main ideas, we used to skim and scan the paragraph. Then second one is identify the keywords. Okay, candidates should be able to identify the words that signal important informations such as titles, headings, and subheadings. We should be careful and show utmost interest and importance to titles, headings, and subheadings. And the third one is recognizing context. So we should identify the context. Candidates should be able to recognize the context within which a word or phrase is used to understand its meaning. The fourth one, understanding discourse makers. Like discourse markers, sorry, not makers, markers. Discourse markers such as however, furthermore, and therefore are used to link ideas and signal relationships between different parts of the text. So we should get to know and understand what those discourse markers are. And the fifth one is inference and deduction. Candidates should be able to make logical inferences and deductions from the information presented in the text. So we should have the ability to analyze the paragraph and logical reasoning in order to deduct the information from the presented text. So these are the strategies through which we can get or score more or high in the reading section. So this is all about today's video. Let's see in detail about other skills in the upcoming videos. Thank you.